Money, confidence, purpose, and self-image. These four things help to shape your entire life, but most of us struggle to master them. In today's video, I'm going to break down four powerful books that will shape the way you think about wealth, success, and will help you create your better self. And like the first one, I'm going to break these down to three different things. And so for the first one, I'm going to do like a little brief summary, just the overall of the book. How did I like it? How did I feel about it? And then number two, I'm going to do like a little passage or excerpt, just, talking about like why that part was my favorite out of the book. And then for number three, I'm gonna just rank them out of like four because it's four books. And yeah, so let's get into the first book. Okay, so for our first book is going to be The Psychology of Money. And usually this cover is white, but I got it from Barnes& and Noble, so this was like the exclusive edition, and it was brown. And I wanted to say that overall, I really love this book. I do individual ratings as well, so I would definitely give this book 10 out of 10 might be crazy, but I at least do like 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed this book, specifically because if you guys watched the last one, I always like kind of review like self-help books, I guess. So I was kind of looking for like a subject specific, and this was like, of course, money specific. And I just really liked how Morgan wrote it. He wrote it kind of not too like informative, but it was like kind of funny in some parts. So you're just able to understand. But he talked about and it was just kind of like how Atomic Habit was in the beginning. He had like some charts and some like specific evidence, which was good for you to understand. But he just talked about like money, how to deal with money. It's kind of, I will say psychology, but yeah, it's like everything was more catered towards your mindset. Like if you have a good or bad mindset, that determines how you gain money, how you spend money, how you save money, how you invest money. So I liked how he covered all that. He covered things like stocks, or he covered because of how certain companies thought about certain things. That's why they excelled. That's why he failed. He talked about, certain companies going bankrupt because of, certain practices they did. So overall, just really enjoyed this book. Like I said, I just finished. It wasn't too long. It's about like 200 and something pages, but it was really good. And yeah, he had like good charts in there. He talked about some historical stuff. So just really good overall. I like this book. It definitely opened my eyes to just about money in general. Because I already knew, like, one thing I already learned before this book is that, like, it might sound weird, but for me, being broke, like some people say, like being broke isn't really like physical, but it's more your mindset. Like for me, if you think you can get a job and get money, then you could be as rich and as wealthy if you want to. But it's like if you're always going to be poor, lazy, and just not want to better yourself, then that's a broke person mindset or a broke people mindset. And so like I said, definitely reading this book taught me that. And then I'm like, I spent money on this to invest in my mind, and then I'm actually learning something. So I want to say that's why I really had like that. And then it was a part in here. I'm gonna flip through it. It was a part in here. It's on page 34. The chapter it was in was luck and risk. And overall, this was one of my favorite chapters. I had highlighted in the table of contents. It was one of my favorite chapters. And it was just talking about like how sometimes we have to take that risk, and sometimes through that risk we can be lucky. Like say for example the YouTube, I'm taking a risk in spending money in equipment, going out in public, just trying a lot of things. Like I'm risking that, but it's like I could always get lucky by this being my new life. I can make money from this. I can become famous from this. I don't do it because of that, but I'm just saying that could be the output. But at the same time, it's a risk because what if none of those things happen? You know what I mean? So I really loved how in that chapter he went, he kind of explored both of those things, because he even talked about like with some businesses, they were trash and not that good. They didn't follow as many practices and didn't study as much stuff as they did, but it was the luck part. You know what I mean? They had a lot of risk, but it was the luck part, and that's why they had did good. So, and then for the part that I wanted to cover, page 4, it was at the end. And this part really stuck out to me, but it said that failure can be a lousy teacher because it seduces smart people into thinking their decision was terrible, when sometimes they are just to reflect the unforgiving realities of risk. And so that's what I was talking about, because sometimes we always just try something new, but because we think we made a mistake or because we failed, we immediately just think that that was a bad idea. But no, that was just a risk. Like I said, he explores the game of luck and risk, and I like how he talks about them, like he personifies them to see, personify, big words, but he personifies them as if they're like people like that play a role in your life, kind of how like God is and like the devil is. It was kind of like that, but like with money and businesses. Like I said, I really like that because all we're trying to do is just start new things. Like I said, be smart, start new things, or start a new business plan that like no one else has did. But we think because we messed up or that we failed, that it's not for us and that we didn't work. And that's why it really stuck out to me. And like he said, that's just the reality of risk. That's life. Sometimes everything isn't going to work, but it's up to us to like keep trying to make it work or figure something else out. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, that's why that part was good. Like I said, 9.5 out of 10. Just finished this. And yeah, on to the second book. And so for my next book is going to be The Way of a Superior Man. I actually got this recommended from TikTok, but this was one of my favorites besides the money one because once again, it was a book Pacific and it just talked about, well, it says on the bottom, a spiritual guide to mastering the challenges of women, work, and sexual desire. And David, I'm not going to say his last name, but David wrote it. And I would like to say overall, I really enjoyed the book, 9 out of 10, specifically for me because I don't want to make this sound harsh, but I didn't have a dad present in my life for real. It was just my mom who's a single mother. And so even when I was growing up, raised up, it's like your mom can only, teach you so many things. But a man has to teach you how to be like a man. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. Like my mom could only teach my mom can only teach me what a man is in her perspective, but it's like she's not a man, you know what I mean? So she doesn't experience what an actual man goes through. She doesn't play the role of a man in a relationship or a marriage. And so I loved how he explains the purpose of a man, what a man should be doing, how a man should control his sexual desires, his women, just a lot of things. Like I said, I really loved how he explored the, I guess, polarities. He explored the polarities between femininity and masculinity because this was really big for me, especially in this generation. I don't know. I just feel like maybe it's just on TikTok, but I don't know. I just feel like sometimes men don't want to be men. Like, I don't know. It's like, yeah, I understand everybody doesn't want to be hard and pay all the bills, 50-50 conversations, like all that stuff. But I just remember seeing some people online, like some dudes complain about like opening the door or just doing stuff like being there for their girlfriend. But it's like, you're supposed to be the man. Like, you know what I mean? And so that's why I feel like this book really hit me. Because one, it taught me a lot of stuff of like how to be a man, how to go through stuff, and it just taught me because I just remember back then being like, oh, I wish girls could do this or women could do that, women could do this, but it's like they're not supposed to because they're not in their masculinity. They're supposed to be in their femininity, and I'm happy that he explains that. That might have been confusing, but I feel like you have to read the book to kind of understand. But it wasn't too long either. It was like 100 and something pages. Chapters were really short. I just loved how he broke everything down. And so, for the part, wait, let me go to it. And so for the part that I want to talk about, it was in chapter 4. It says, don't get lost in tasks and duties. And he was basically just talking about like the man's purpose is, to provide. Well, that was the part. It was to provide. But he was saying to like, sometimes we can get like lost in our task. And so the thing that I underlined was this do mode. This do mode is one of men's biggest strengths and weaknesses. And that really spoke out to me because I was like, sometimes that even happens to me outside of like a relationship, but like just say basic friendship. Like sometimes I'll get so locked into like my task or what I'm doing that like I'll kind of accidentally ignore or like push people away on the outside. And I've kind of noticed that with like sometimes my family. Like I'll be trying to, always. I mean, the YouTube stuff is important and that's my priority, but then at the same time, it's like you still have to be able to balance both. You know what I mean? Or like even when school, like say, this just happened for the dining hall. It was a midterm I had, and I was spending the whole day studying. And even one or two of my friends ran to me at the dining hall, and I was like, oh, I can't really talk right now. I got to study. And it's like, that could technically, like I said, be a strength or a weakness because it's like one that is showing my strength and discipline, me being headstrong, focused, tunnel vision. At the same time, it could be a weakness because it's like I'm pushing other people out, and it's like that's not fair for them. They're just trying to be there for me just as I be there for them. But it's like I'm so tunnel vision that it's like, yeah, I'm blocking out the distractions, but it's like I'm blocking out my friends who want to talk to me. I'm blocking out my loved ones who want to spend time with me. And then he was saying the purpose of like, if you have like a girlfriend and stuff, is that like like he was saying in the polarities is because it's like masculinity and femininity should kind of like balance each other. But he was like, if you're just going to be so hardworking and not paying attention to your wife, your girlfriend, then it's like it's almost as if that task that is benefiting you because you're providing for her, so it's benefiting both of y'all. But at the same time, it's like if you're pushing her away, then it's more of a negative and not a positive. It's not really a benefit anymore. And so he was saying just to be able to have that balance. And like I said, he just really I just really loved how he dove into, like I said, the masculinity of how, like, when we do those tasks that are beneficial, it's because, in our masculine desire, it is to provide. So that's why we feel so worthy when we do tasks, or we complete tasks, or we build something, or we get something done. And yeah, so hopefully you got those points. But like I said, you just have to really read the book. It's kind of a complex topic, but you understand it more if you read the book. And yeah, I would recommend 9 out of 10. And let's move into the second. No, let's move into the third book. And so the third book that I want to talk about is You Are a Badass by Gene Sincero, I think. Absolutely really love this book. I feel I'm going to give them on 9 out of 10. I mean, I bought them making a video of them, so of course it's going to be good. But I really liked it. It kind of reminded me of The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. These two, I don't mean to cuss, but these two were kind of almost the same, just because it's like all these books are, they're written for, self-help, growth, and advice. But I really do kind of prefer sometimes, not all the time, but I do kind of prefer when they're written in like a funny and joking way, because it's almost as if like your homegirl, your homeboy is talking to you, you know what I mean? And so I really liked how, like, she just read it. Like, it's like she was talking to me, or it was like if she wasn't talking to me, then I heard like my friend's voice talking to me. Like I said, it's literally just like your homeboy, your homegirl give you advice. So I really love the things that she was talking about, how she wrote it, the language. It wasn't too long. About the majority of these are like 200 and some pages, so not that hard, but you should be able to read it. And so, but yeah, I just really loved how she talked about it. And like I said, it just surrounded, personal growth. And so that the chapter that I wanted to discuss, that my pastor was in, it was Love the One You Is. Yeah, Love the One You Is. And so this whole entire chapter, it just kind of talked about, like, just loving yourself. Like, here on this page, it said, let the love in, don't compare yourself to others, forgive yourself, and just overall love yourself. Another one was ditch the self-deprecating humor, find a replacement, do the things you love, appreciate how special you are, drawing yourself an affirmation. So it was just all everything, surrounded by love and love yourself. And I really like that. And then for the thing that I want to talk about in my passage, this one's kind of long, so it's gonna be some time. I'm sorry, but it was, once again, it was in the love like idea. And I guess because it was a header, so the header it was under was ditch the self-deprecating humor. And so it said, what you tell yourself on a daily basis is more powerful than you know. Seemingly harmless jokes over time turn into seriously destructive beliefs. Our thoughts become our words become our beliefs become our actions become our habits, and our habits become our realities. So if your favorite joke is that you couldn't get a date if you demanded one at gunpoint, and you spend every Saturday night alone, perhaps you should come up with a new one-liner. And so once again, when she wrote, coming with the new one liner, it's kind of like she just bashed your own joke, but at the same time, the joke was on you. And that's why I kind of, like I said, I kind of like how she wrote it, because she was basically saying that that was a lame mad joke. And so, but it is, and so I really say that spoke out to me, because I think I said in one of these sit down videos that, like, before, I used to kind of struggle with like negative self talk. And that's why, it's talking about, self-talk. And I always do that. Like, say if something, well, I used to, I don't do that now, but like back then, say if something went wrong, like I failed a test or something, I'd be like, boy, I'm so dumb, I'm so smart. But I would make a joke about it. Like, I can't come up with a joke right now on the spot. But I would literally always make jokes to like make fun of myself and stuff. So literally when she wrote that, I was like, oh my god, like, this is me, like I'd be doing that. And so and yeah, I just loved how the, like, it's in the love chapter, but at the same time it was negative self-talk. And it's so true, because it's like if you're constantly going to say you're not good at something, or you're bad at something, or you fat, ugly, no one likes you, like just all the negative things, literally that will become a habit, that will become your reality. Like, Literally, if you wake up every single day and you just feel like you tell yourself you're not good enough, you can't do this, you can't do that, like you're going to like your brain is right here. Your brain is the control of your whole body. Everything goes through neurons and all the stuff in your brain. So it's like literally like it literally makes sense if you are gonna get up and always be surrounded by negativity, not only be surrounded, but you're going to allow it to enter, process, and then formulate through your body. What do you think is going to happen around you? Negativity. And so that's why it really spoke out to me because like I said, I used to always make jokes like that. And it was crazy because like once she said it, I was like, it's like I didn't realize I was doing it until she said it and I read it. And then from then, when I would do that, I'd be like, "Ooh, let me stop." I used to start catching myself. And so, like I said, that's the reason why I had loved that. But overall, it was just a good book. Like I said, 9 out of 10. I really suggest it, and I just really love the language and everything, and it was funny. So this was a good, like, funny read while also getting advice at the same time. And yeah, so let's move into our last book. And so for the fourth book that I want to talk about would be Psycho-Cybernetics. And overall, this book was really good. It talked about, oh, I'm just gonna read it, but it talked about improving your self-image, learn how to use your positive past, set and achieve worthwhile goals, develop compassion, self respect, and forgiveness, cultivate the power of rational thinking, discover the key to a happier, more successful life. And just to give a brief, well, the thing that had, I guess, kickstarted this book was because I think the main dude was, I think it's called a plastic surgery, or maybe it was another word for it. But he was basically saying that, like, the people that would come in to do, like, plastic surgery, they were, like, looking fine. Like, they were healthy, they were okay. They might have had one little thing about them, but he was like, even when he would fix it, they still wouldn't accept themselves. They still wouldn't like love themselves. And he would even say that some people would do 2 or 3 surgeries. And so that would just show that, like, at the end of the day, everything comes down to like our self love. Just how I talked about with how you're a badass. And how that explain, self love, self talk, the negative comments that we say to ourselves, that would become our reality. And so he had explained that. And one anecdotal evidence was, I think he talked about somebody having, because I read that this was the first one out of these 4, but I kind of read these like kind of months ago. And so, but he had said that it was someone that he did a surgery on, I think had like a scar, or maybe they cut themselves open from like an accident or something. And he said that once he had came in for the plastic surgery, he fixed and everything, the guy still didn't like himself. He still didn't accept himself. And so that kind of just showed that, like I said, it's our inner things. It could be our own insecurities that could be causing the problems and not the outside stuff. Because he even said that the guy looked good, he looked even better, and he still didn't like it. He still think, more work needed to be done. And overall, like I said, that just shows our insecurities and stuff. And so the passage that I wanted to read, it was from the chapter of the failure mechanism, how to make it work for you instead of against you. And he explained that's another concept in this book was a success mechanism, I think, and then the failure mechanism. And it's just different things in your life that, might accidentally cause a mistake, or for success, the things that you do in your life to, create success. And it's kind of like mechanism because it's like a machine. Like, you put different parts into a machine and it does stuff. And so that's what the failure was. And so the border above it, it was right here, but the border above it was insecurity. And it was a great deal of insecurity is not due to the fact that our inner resources are actually inadequate, but due to the fact that we use a false measuring stick. We compare our actual abilities to a imagined ideal perfect or absolute self. Thinking of yourself in terms of absolutes induces insecurity. And that just really has spoke to me because I used to be a person that really, really, really used to struggle with comparison. I don't really do it as much because I sometimes I fall into it, but I feel like I don't do it as often, and it's not as often a habit because things like the books, taught me. But yeah, it just really has spoke to me because, like I said, we will always think that just because we're not doing certain things like other people, or because our steps or our journey doesn't look exactly ideal to someone else's, that is not meant for us. But at the end of the day, we have to be our own. We have to embrace our own individuality. We have to be our own individual. We have to be unique in our own way. I say that every video. Just because it doesn't look like someone else's doesn't mean it's not meant for you. You just got to be able to do it your way. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, if we all made movies like one director, would we have the Avengers? Would we have Avatar? Would we have all, like, you watch a movie because you enjoy the film and because it doesn't look like another movie. You know what I mean? Imagine if every movie we watch looked like Marvel movies, superhero movies, The Hunger Games. Like, you know what I mean? Imagine every movie you watch was just a reenactment of the Hunger Games. It would be boring. You wouldn't be into it. Imagine every show you watch was a copy of your other favorite shows. You wouldn't be into it. You know what I mean? But because it's unique in its own way. And so that's what we have to do. And I wanted to close off that, like, sometimes we just be insecure about stuff that, like, literally isn't important. It doesn't matter. Like, we be insecure about something on our foot. No, we wear socks, shoes, pants. Like, no one can see your foot. We'll be like, I got this one bruise on my back or mark on my back. This birthmark. Like, no one's seeing your back. You know what I mean? So I just want to say that, like, literally insecurities, it just be our own self. We be our own self critics, and then we critique ourselves so bad that it's like, we just critique ourselves. So, but yeah, this book was super good. I would definitely rate it probably like an 8, just because the language was a little complex. It wasn't as, like, fun and lighthearted as the other ones, but it was such a good read. And yeah, so let's go into the next book. We're down to the ratings of these 4 books. I hope all the other parts made it in, but we'll see when we edit. But I got all these 4 books, and we're gonna rank them. And so for the 4th one, I'm gonna put Psycho-Cybernetics. Me putting that last, I'm not. It was not a bad book. I would give it like 8.5, 8 out of 10. It was really good. It was just the language was very. It was just very complex. I wouldn't say it was a hard read. It just, these were ones a little easier since it was like a little like lighthearted, more funnier. But this was still good. Really like the anecdotal evidence, and it was kind of like, it's weird to say even though it's ranked 4th, but it was kind of funny to read this one because this was the first one. Then to read all of these, because it's like while I was reading these 3, I was able to like see the big topics from this one, if that makes sense. Like, it was able to stem down from me. So I would say for that, and then You Are a Badass, I'm gonna do for 3rd. I just really loved how she wrote it. It was very funny. It literally, like, one of my like homeboys was talking to me, like, just giving me advice 1-on-1. It was funny. Yeah, I mean, I just really liked it. It was very funny, self help, great, 9 out of 10. Then I was really torn between these 2. If I wanted to either do this one first, just because I like literally just read this, like I just finished it this week. But I'm actually going to put this second, mainly because I think this is definitely one of those books. I think when I start working, or when I pray I make it in life. Hope everyone subscribes, watch the videos. But definitely when I make it in life and I actually start like investing stocks, credits, I think I would reread this book. Only because, so like I said, it just talked a lot about money, and it was good to get like a brief overview of what to do when I eventually get it and how to go about things, or if I want to start a business in the future. At the same time, it's like, imagine if I already had one and then I read this, but just because it was talking directly about those businesses and money, but it's like I can't really relate exactly to that because I don't have businesses and money. So that's why I would say, but this one was a really, really good read. I recommend all these books and the books from the last one, but I highly recommend this one. This was a great read. And then, which was surprisingly, because I was debating about getting this book way back in when I got it from Barnes and Nobles, but I will put this one as number 1. This will definitely be this might be, well, no, I've even thought about, like, I might give my son this. Like, this was just a really good book. I definitely will think maybe when I have kids, or when I get like 30 or 40, I'll reread again. Hopefully I still have it and care about reading. But this was just really good because it just taught me so much. Like, I feel like I learned through all the books. So I feel like I was able to learn through like all the pages. Like, I really enjoyed this book. So yeah, it just taught me so many things about a man, what a man should do, when I get in a relationship, how to go about it. Like, it was really good. Like, this was good. Like I said, I didn't have no dad to teach me these things, so I was able to teach me myself. So, but yeah, these are these 4 books for this book talk. Y'all overall let me know how y'all liked it. These are these 4 books. Y'all let me know overall how y'all like this book talk. I try to make it definitely a lot shorter than the last one. I said 40, 50 minutes. Talk about books. This ain't a vlog. You know what I mean? So, but I tried to shorten it up for you guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. All of these books will be linked below in my Amazon storefront. I got majority of them from Barnes and Nobles, but if you want to help your boy out, and you want to give me some commission, go to that storefront, okay? Thank you. Trying to get my money. We just talked about getting that money, didn't we? Okay. So, but yeah, overall, those books were so fun to read. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have read any of these books or books from the last one. If anybody has read any of those 8 books, how did y'all like them? Or if I put you guys on any of the books, how did you guys like reading them? And yeah. Oh, and also let me know down below what books I can read. And I'm debating for the next set of 4 because I like reading. It's good. Put that phone. I be telling people that get off of TikTok. Some of y'all consume TikTok and Twitter all day and be wondering why that mind fried. Let's read something beneficial, consume some beneficial. Okay. So, but I'm debating for the next talk if because my next one is going to be a Christian book because I want to start reading like Christian books. You know, I do read my Bible, but let me read somebody else's testimony, someone else's journey. You know what I mean? Because all these books, it's like they'll like some people have mentioned God in some of the books, but you know if the whole thing is curated by God, let me see what that says. So, but yeah, I'm debating if I want to do like all 4 Christian books because I haven't made like a Christian sit down video yet. So if I should do all 4 Christian books or just 2 Christian books or just 1 Christian book, I don't know. But yeah, so we're gonna continue to read and yeah, let you guys know if you guys enjoy these book talks, these sit down videos. And yeah, we currently have like 507 subscribers. So continue to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Road to 600 subs. And I'm going to see you on the next video.